Hello everyone, I've counted the votes, and the card you wanted me to talk about most is...
So many wonderful poisons.
Xaril, Poison Mind. Let's begin, shall we? Xaril is a rogue legendary card added with the Whispers of the Old Gods set. He is a Mantid and part of the Kluxi, and their lore goes back, way back to the early days where the Old Gods ruled the world of Azeroth. From their blighted forms came a race known as the Akir, insectoids of incredible resilience and strength. The Old Gods, they ended up in a war with the Titans, and during that war, the Old God Xaril, he was ripped out of the planet. This left a massive wound behind. Bits and pieces of the Old God, they fell back onto the planet, infecting it with darkness, and it showed the Titans that they could not simply destroy the Old Gods, for it would do too much damage to the planet. Instead, they decided to imprison the remaining Old Gods, and they sealed the wound, calling it the Well of Eternity. One of the biggest chunks that fell back onto the world, it was the heart of Xaril, which they placed within a container, and they hid it away beneath the land that we now call Pandaria. The Titans eventually left the planet of Azeroth behind, so that life could do its thing, and life flourished and evolved. Even the Akir changed their forms. We've seen the Nerubians connected to Yogg-Saron, the Karaji connected to Kafun, and in Pandaria, we saw the Mantid connected to Xaril. By the time that we reached Pandaria, our emotions fed something that they call the Sha. This is the darkness that seeped into the planet when Xaril was ripped out of the world, and this darkness, it fed, it grew in power, and it took control of the Queen of the Mantid, called Grand Empress Khazir. Normally, the Mantid, they stay close to a cycle. Every 100 years, they would swarm the Great Serpent Wall, and they tried to conquer Pandaria. Defenders would hold them back, the strong would return, and so the cycle continued, with each generation growing stronger and stronger. Now that the Shah of Fear has taken control of their Empress, she sends the Mantid out ahead of schedule, and this posed a great threat to the entire race. This called the Kluxi into action. Elder Mantid able to resist the madness of the Queen, and we aided them with awakening several Paragons. These Paragons were legends in their time, Mantid who had proven themselves to be exceptional warriors, to be exceptional alchemists or assassins. Cased within amber, their bodies were preserved for the time when the Kluxi needed them again, for the time that we witnessed, and one amongst these Paragons was called Xaril the Poison Mind.
Yes, we can run.
Before they placed him within the amber, he made a great gamble by injecting himself with a dozen lethal poisons. The life-giving properties of amber, it protected him as he guessed, and time did the rest. Now he can handle any poison he desires without any fear, and he utilized it well against the force of the Queen as we get to decimate their troops. Now the Queen doesn't like it that the Kluxi is working against her, so she shows up at Kluxi Ves to show them all who's the boss.
Such is the fate of those who question authority.
It's a setback, to be certain, but not one that will stop the Kluxi and the Paragons from doing what must be done. We increased the reputation with them by performing daily duties, and while in the Dread Wastes, the Paragons offered their aid. In the case of Xaril, he gave us a buff called Raining Blood. Attacking enemies would inject them with unstable serum, and upon reaching 5 stacks, this serum would do extra damage to our prime target, and all enemies next to the target would be stunned. Step by step, day by day, we gained more and more reputation, until eventually we teamed up and we took the battle to the Heart of Fear. Inside the raid, we found several of the Mantid loyal to the Queen, but all of them fell before our might, and we removed the corrupted Empress out of her seat of power. Now the Kluxi, they did warn us that even though we were working together on this, they were loyal to their old god Xaril, and if the Ancient One should ever return, they would stand at his side, and the wisest amongst us would do the same. Now wouldn't you know it, War Chief Garrosh Hellscream actually found the heart of Xaril, the heart of their old god, and he empowered it with the sacred waters from the Veil. Having the heart at his side gained him the loyalty of the Paragons, meaning that we had to fight them within the siege of Orgrimmar.
I never discovered how to put a stopper in death.
And that's where the Paragons of the Kluxi, including Xaril, met their end. But perhaps not forever, since Kilrak, he says,
Well fought, Awakener. We will meet again.
So who knows if the cycle of rebirth can be used for these Paragons, and now Xaril is a legendary card within Hearthstone, once again providing his aid by giving us access to his delicious poisons as a battle cry and a death rattle. Each of the 5 possible poisons are named after the herb found within World of Warcraft. And that is all I have for you today when it comes to Xaril Poison Mind. As always, I'll leave it up to you guys and girls to decide what card we're going to talk about next, so leave your suggestions in the comments down below, and who knows, your card might be used in the next video. Subscribe if you like my videos, leave a like if you enjoyed this one, and until next time guys, see ya!